Welcome to the Elevate You Show, where we provide winning solutions for entrepreneurs and creative artists to elevate their business, mindset, spirit, health, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Tamira Wilson, and I'm here to help you go a little bit higher so that you can have the business and lifestyle you've always wanted. Hello and welcome to the Elevate You Show. I'm your host, Tamira Wilson, and I'm super excited that you're here with me today because I want to share some information that I believe will help you reach your goals. The subject matter today is on discipline. I'm going to share with you the 5 ways to use the power of discipline in your business or in your life. So I know you guys know what the word self-discipline means. However, I came across different definitions, and I want to share one in particular. It was from a philosopher, because I love philosophers and philosophy and psychology. But this one philosopher, his name is Albert Hubbard, he defines self-discipline as the ability to do what you have to do, when you have to do it, whether you feel like it or not. Who can relate to that? I know there has been times that I did not feel like doing anything for my business. Like as far as, there's days when I don't feel like creating content and sitting there thinking about what am I going to create and then implementing it and executing on it. And, whether it's a video or just some content I'm creating. Sometimes I don't feel like it, but it doesn't matter if I feel like it or not. I am developing discipline and I do it anyway. So let's get started. So the first way to use the power of discipline is to identify your goals. Get crystal clear on what your goals are. It's crucial because you know what? It's sad to say that a lot of people don't even have any goals. I mean, you may have a conversation with someone and you may ask them, hey, so tell me a little bit about your goals. They may not be able to answer you right away. They may actually have to sit there and ponder and really think about what their goals are. So get crystal clear on your goals. The next way is after you have established and get clear on your goals, then you need to start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you have to work backwards so that you can determine what the necessary steps are that you need to get to your end goal. Prime example. Let's say, for example, you wanted to be a lawyer. Now, most people think that the only thing you need to do is study for an exam and go take your bar exam, right? No, it's not that simple. Before you even take the bar exam, you have to go to law school. But even before that, you have to have a bachelor's degree before you can even be accepted into a law school. Any type of bachelor's degree, I believe, at least at the time that I last research, they required any type of bachelor's degree. So the process would be you need to go to a 4-year college, get your bachelor's degree, then apply to law school, then study for the exam, and then hopefully you pass the bar exam. It's a process. And unfortunately, you cannot bypass the process. Now, I just gave you an example of the process when it relates to academically or in a natural sense. But there is also a process in the spiritual sense. And what I mean by that is, let's just say, for example, you wanted to be a minister or you wanted to go out and evangelize and preach to the world. Sometimes there's a process that God is doing behind the scenes internally, working things internally in you that he needs to change a little things. He needs to sharpen some things, or he needs to remove certain things. Maybe you're a little bit too shy, or maybe you are a little bit too bold and too upfront because you just have that Holy Ghost boldness, and you'll just tell people like it is. And sometimes God's like, no, you're not ready, because I don't need you to go out there and tear somebody down with your mouth. Maybe you have a sharp tongue or a quick temper, or whatever the case may be. God still needs to work on you a little bit. Now look, God's still working on me. There's certain things about me that I'm not how I used to be, because, I was always that type of person that would just tell you like it is. But I had to change that and tell the truth in love, So we're all a work in progress. We're still all a work in progress. I'm not where I used to be, and I'm certainly not where I should be, but God is merciful. But I just say all that to say, you cannot bypass the process. I don't care what it is. So the third way is to have a plan B. Have a plan B, because look, life happens to each and every one of us. We can't control things that are unforeseen, the things that we cannot see, the unforeseen things that come about, and those curveballs that are thrown at us that we weren't expecting, we're just not prepared for it. But the interesting thing is, I came across this technique. It's called the Goldwitzer technique, and it was created by a psychologist whose name is Peter Goldwitzer. He came up with the Goldwitzer technique as a way to help people get through those hard, the obstacles that came their way. And the whole principle behind that was, what he did was he came up with this study where he had participants come up with a if-then statement, so that it was to help them get through those rough times in their lives. And the whole psychology behind that was so they wouldn't feel off guard. They would be prepared in case an obstacle would arise, and they would have the if-then statement. So if this happened, then they would be able to do this, or they would have a plan B to be able to maneuver around that trouble that they're faced with, so that they won't get discouraged and lose their willpower. So the whole psychology again behind it is to preserve the willpower. Because as you know, when you get hit with a ton of bricks and you're not expecting, you're just going along in life and you're focused on the prize and reaching your destination, and then bam, all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, a situation happens and it just takes you off course. And the thing that gets hit the most is your willpower to continue on, right? It's your willpower to keep moving, and the willpower to have the strength to keep going and keep going and keep going. So this whole technique was to help people have another plan B. And another way to describe that would be, let's just say your goal was to lose weight. Maybe you were doing good for like maybe a whole month or a few weeks, and you were going to the gym faithfully, like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. You were getting your car, go drive to the gym. And then one day you get into your car to go to the gym and your car wouldn't start. And then you're thinking, oh my goodness. You're so frustrated, and then you're so mad, like, oh my gosh, like, why did this car break down today? Like, you were really feeling up to going to the gym, or maybe you weren't feeling up to going, but you were disciplined enough to go to the gym. But now you're just ready to throw in the towel. Now, because your car isn't working, you don't have a way to get to the gym. So what do? You just throw in the towel and just say, I'm not going to work out that day. But if you had prepared for it and had an if-then statement, you would be prepared. You wouldn't be cut off guard. So instead of you copping out on it and saying, I'm not going to work out today because maybe you don't have any equipment, exercise equipment in your home. But what you could do and tell yourself is, you know what? I'm going to take a walk around the block. I'm going to go outside. I don't care how cold it is. whatever the case may be, hopefully it's a beautiful day that day, but maybe you have to tell yourself to just go and take a walk or a jog, because you will still reach your goal by going out and taking a jog, because in the long run, you're still ultimately reaching your goal, which will be losing weight. Follow me? Because jogging will still help you lose weight. So the next thing would be is to sustain your motivation. You have to practice self-discipline on a daily basis. But how do you stay motivated to do so? Well, there was a study done at the UCLA, and there was actually a published article in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology bulletin that said visualization can help sustain your motivation. They actually said that they did a test. They said students that focus more on the process of self-discipline got better grades than the students that only focus on the outcome of the process. So keep that in mind. Focus on the process and not the outcome. Now, the fifth way is to get enough sleep. You know, you may not realize this, but practicing self-discipline, it takes a lot of energy and willpower. And studies showed that getting the proper amount of sleep can actually increase your willpower. But it's the quality of that sleep. Now, the type of sleep they were referring to was REM sleep. You know, that's the period where you're in deep sleep and with the rapid eye movement. That's the time when your brain is decluttering from all the thought processes. And then by the time you wake up, you're rejuvenated, your mind is rejuvenated, and you have the willpower to keep going. That's what the studies showed. So get the proper amount of sleep, quantity and quality. Okay, if you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, challenge yourself to stay in bed, because as soon as you hit that light, that's going to interrupt and disrupt your sleeping pattern. So get the proper amount of sleep. I know some of you guys like to work in the midnight hours and you're, burning oils under the stick. You got to get your rest. You got to get the proper amount of sleep. So that, my friends, is what I have for you. I hope you can take something out of that. I hope I provided value for you so that you can go out and reach your goals. And I want to leave you with a quote by Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock. And he said that all successes begin with self-discipline. It starts with you. It starts with you, guys. So go ahead out there and practice self-discipline. It's not easy, but once you develop it, it will turn into a habit. So, in closing, as I always say, go out and celebrate and elevate you, because guess what? Sometimes no one else will. But I celebrate you. So until next time, God bless.